Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hey guys, welcome back to Euro Incision. It's game week 4. Terrible night for English teams in the Champions League, but you can always count on Liverpool to rise to the top, and indeed they did. And joining me on the podcast, as always, it is my awesome co-host, Guy Drinkel. Guy, welcome back.
It's always nice when football's lovely, isn't it? It was an awesome weekend, and
yeah,
it was just an extra group of endorphins for us. It was all great.
Indeed, I heard you on the Raw podcast. You hosted the Brighton one, and you just kind of glazed through it. You were just so calm and unfazed and unbothered. It just seemed like a really good weekend of football. But Champions League here, let's talk about the main one. That's what people want to talk about. Obviously, Liverpool taking on Leverkusen. Before I get into this, obviously there was a lot of pre-hype about Alonso and stuff, and there was a lot of content about him, lots of articles. I'm going to be honest with you and the listeners, I didn't get into the fandom. Like, I've had Gerrard, be boss of Aston Villa, and I've actually not felt much. I can't lie.
It's weird, isn't it? I think the one that maybe hit me the most was Rafa when he was at Newcastle.
I'm so glad you went there. Yes. And because obviously, I remember that game as well. Liverpool fans kept chanting his name. It was waving at the crowd. It was the game that Luis Suarez beat Ivanovic, and Rafa chose to play blind and didn't see anything. That one hit me. Can't remember the year. It's like rolling back the wheel of fortune. I can't remember the season, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just because Rafa was... I had Julia for like a season, but I was very, very young. So Rafa, I don't know why Rafa would mean more to me than Gerrard especially, but yeah, that was weird. But no, I'm kind of the same. I think even as player, like Xabi Alonso, I loved him and I love everything he did, but it always felt like the best of him was after Liverpool. Like, I know he had 2 great seasons for Liverpool, probably the first and his last, and maybe 2007, or was that the one he got injured? One of them he got injured, didn't he? But anyway, yeah, it's a weird one. But even when he was playing, I always preferred Mascherano. Maybe I just preferred his shithouse.
This is why I liked you, because that one broke my heart when he left.
Yeah.
Literally did. But yeah, you're right. Maybe we're older and the fandom just doesn't hit like it used to. And even like the managerial links as well. And there was like, oh, he's coming home and stuff. And I was like, I was neutral to all of it. I was like, I'm not getting attached to anyone, no manager, no nothing, because I have no idea where my club's going to go, and I'm still processing Klopp leaving as well. But he came to Anfield, like you said, he's won an awful lot, so spanking him 4-0 at Anfield, I don't feel bad for it. On a slot, thank you very much. Talk to me about this one, because when I was watching the first half, Guy, I was, obviously the team lineup was what we expected, right? But when I was watching that first half, it was just, a lot of people would call it dull and boring and frustrating, but it was just two teams just cancelling each other out. It was just a game of chess.
Yeah, I think you're right with that, to be fair. I think if you've seen all like the pundit highlights, and there was I can't remember the fan channel, there was a good tactical breakdown of it, and talking how I think Slot mentioned it actually afterwards on the show Carragher does, the American one, CBS or whatever it is. Yeah, they just set up differently than we expected, and we probably see that every bloody game for Liverpool this season, because we know we're basically a second half team, and I think that proven again really. But yeah, first half it was one of them where you kind of you're glancing at the TikTok app on your phone with a bit too much sideways eye. It's just like, yeah, not much is happening here, but yeah, it was tight. There wasn't too much going on. They had the disallowed goal, obviously, with the handball. We had that one Gakpo chance, didn't we, where Jones did that nice pass out to the left. But it really was tight, and you saw the change at half time. But in the first half, we couldn't get players up and around Diaz. Moore was getting marked out of the game, or was being allowed to be marked out of the game. Probably word that better. But we saw the change at half time. We moved people a bit further up the pitch and maybe took a bit more of a gamble in terms of dealing with their attacking threat, but they just simply couldn't handle us once we got people up and around Diaz, who we'll obviously talk about scoring a hat-trick, but in a new role. Even when he was kind of isolated, I thought he was doing quite well. Maybe not as good as Darwin has in recent, but considering it's a brand new role for him, up against 4 centre-backs, he did pretty well.
I mean, for me, it was like take your pick of your favourite goal, because they were all really well-worked goals, good team play. I mean, the pass from Jones for Diaz's first, oh my God, just everything about that was just divine. You're right about Jones, and I feel like maybe his pass is going a little bit underappreciated, for him to just see that run and just to kind of slot it past them. A diagonal kind of pass into Diaz, and Diaz, just the composure. I love that for Diaz. I love what Diaz is kind of showing in this team as well, because I actually think consistently, as a whole, he's been really good this season. It's great to see him get a hat-trick. I'd probably say he's probably had a few, maybe like a couple of games where he's just been a little bit off it for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Diaz he's had a weird one, hasn't he? I think he started the season so bloody well, but this last month and a half, it almost feels like Gakpo kind of overtook him, didn't it? Especially on the left wing, but we're talking about him as a striker here. It'd be nice if they could both have great games at the same time, and they did on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. But if Diaz can get back to scoring as he did in this and do it again in the league, it's a terrifying attack. And that's the fact. We're missing Jota, we're missing Chiesa, who's such a goddamn wild card that we don't even know where he'll play.
I don't even consider him as a miss, because he's not even played. But I forget about him a lot. I can't lie.
You just kind of think, did we sign anyone in the summer?
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, I think even if he does have the odd month off or 3 games off or 4 games off, as long as he's got it in the locker, it's there. It's there. We've always had, as long as 2 of the front 3 are playing well, who cares? We used to have that all the time with our much loved front 3. Like when we were fit and firing and the best team in the planet, yeah, Bobby, Mo and Mane all played well at the same time, but there was many stretches where even one of them only played well at a time. Like how many? What was it? 19. The season we won the league, Mane was just an absolute machine.
Yeah, they would have off days where one would just be very quiet and two would up their game. I completely agree with you with that. Another trend I kind of noticed as well, obviously we're speaking about Luis Diaz and of course he got the hat-trick, but Liverpool scoring quick goals in a sense that Diaz scored on the 61st minute to, get the scoring going, and Gakpo at 63. Something very similar kind of pattern happened against Brighton as well. It just feels like we shell shock a team and then we embark on it. And of course, there was a bit of controversy for that one because the line ruled it for offside. And I think my favourite moment of that whole thing was obviously Salah's ball into Gakpo for the header, but Darwin Núñez wagging his finger at the linesman saying, "No, you got this one wrong. I'm an expert."
Darwin knows about offsides, doesn't he?
He does indeed.
His field of it. It's absolutely his expertise. But no, it's you're right there. We're kind of that snowball avalanche type team, aren't we? And it's what we used to do. I was going to say Jurgen Klopp, but it almost feels like this might put the fear of God. Some people almost feels Brendan Rodgers. Which is never.
You went there.
Yeah, I did.
He had a good week. He had a good week in the Champions League.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. We could actually talk about Celtic in a good light for once in Europe. No, but the good season of Brendan, 13-14. How many games did we just? And I know we're not doing it at the start of games right now, but how many games did we basically kill off by, I don't know, the 30th minute? Just because we just went on a rampage, and then the rest of the game was kind of, maybe not bad because we couldn't defend back then, but you get what I mean. We just used to kill games in 10-minute spells. And if we can do that now with this added not having Martin Skrtel at the it's just such a difference maker. And it's weird, in a 4-0 win, we're still going to bring up how good the defence was because, like, Ibu Kanate,
yeah.
I mean, he's up against Victor Boniface, who's probably one of the best, maybe not young, but up-and-coming strikers. He's in that next crop, and obviously we'll talk about Gyökeres in a few minutes. But he's in that next crop, and apart from those shots at the end, not a sniff. Like, there was, I think I saw one of a clip going around on Twitter. Do you remember when we played United and Rashford had Kanate in a 1v1 and then just turned around and shit the bed?
Yeah.
Boniface did that again, and I'm just like, yeah, we've got two centre-backs here who just have that aura of, you're not getting past me. And I love that. I love that we can defend with aura again. Like,
and that's where it's an upgrade from the Brendan Rodgers, because we did concede a fair bit, so the fact that we're doing that quick burst of, like, putting, like you said, putting fear in teams, but then you've got the defence to kind of back it up as well. And you're right, they were absolutely marvellous in the first half, because I felt like first half it felt a bit more even in the first half to me, because I thought Wirtz was like kind of like just like hovering around the edge of our box, and he had a little bit of space, but we were set up well enough to kind of deal with that threat. But you guys on Raw gave an excellent analysis on Mo Salah, and here he is again, a couple of assists for him.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need, have coverage options to protect the things you value most, file a claim right on the State Farm mobile app, and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The holidays are here at the Home Depot, so let's get to decorating. Find your perfect tree in our huge assortment of shapes, sizes, and styles. Like the easy-to-assemble Jackson Noble Fir, with pre-lit branches perfect for styling with all your favorite ornaments. Or the Flock Starry Light Fraser Fir, with over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that keep their shape so it's ready right out of the box. Ooh. Find the perfect tree now at the Home Depot.
Add excitement to your holidays with Ohio Lottery Holiday Scratch-Offs, including $1 holiday cash and $5 holiday lucky times 10, or holiday bonus millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize. Plus, enjoy second chance drawings where you can win 10 times, 100 times, or 1,000 times the price of your ticket. Scratch-Offs make the perfect gift, and best of all, there's no wrapping required. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
With Uber Reserve, good things come to those who plan ahead. Family vacay? Reserve your ride as soon as you book your flights. To all the planners, now you can reserve your Uber ride up to 90 days in advance. See Uber app for details.
But he got one for Gakpo, he got the second one for Luis Diaz. I mean, he really came into his own in the second half. I just felt like he was having so much joy on the right.
Oh, God, yeah. It's almost a disservice to not speak about him. Even when he has bad games, like, he's still doing stuff. And that is the mark of a great player, because if he has a quiet game, like, even in that first half where he's struggling, he still probably had our second biggest chance where he cut in. And it's like, you're up against basically a back four with loads of defensive midfielders in front. And the game switches and he just comes to life and kills the game instantly with quality. Like, sometimes Salah's right foot is basically there just to keep him stood up. But then sometimes you see him do a cross like that with his weak foot and you're like, why can't you shoot with that foot? It's just, no, but Mo Salah's almost... No, I think he actually is. I think he's very underrated nowadays. Like, in the general scope, like, general discourse about the Premier League, people are talking about Cole Palmer's the best player in the Premier League. And I'm sat there like, I'm pointing at Mo Salah. And like, I know attackers get the favour all the time, so we can't really add Van Dijk in this discussion where we should. But if we're looking at attackers in the Premier League, you've basically got, I think you've got Mo Salah on an island on his own. Like, you can have your Haaland and all that. He's obviously a freak. But in terms of an all-round attacker, I don't see anyone who's as clinical, as clever, as versatile, as unique as Mo Salah. Like, Cole Palmer's going to be fantastic. But if he has anywhere near the level of consistency as Mo, the impact of Mo, and the ability to deliver in big games as Mo, because look at the record in the Champions League. I don't have it in front of me. Obviously, Cole Palmer's not already had that chance because, well, he doesn't even play the Conference League because he's that good they don't even play him in the competition. But we've seen Cole Palmer, like, didn't do anything against us, didn't do anything against United. Yeah. Whereas you look at Mo Salah, he owns Old Trafford. He's on the land bit, not the Glazers. It's Mo Salah. It's genuinely astonishing the level of disrespect he gets from the wider footballing world. Like, he should be talked about in basically similar roles, similar themes as Thierry Henry. And considering what he's done in Europe for Liverpool as well, I think, is he overtaken Gerrard? I mean, he must have by now. Or he's on the verge of overtaking our top scorer. I think he is. But I think he's the highest goal scorer in Africa now, isn't he? But when he gets talked about, he never gets talked about as an all-time great, and he is. He's an all-time Premier League great, and he should be considered an all-time footballing great, but he never feels like he is. We're witnessing greatness, and nobody gives a toss.
Indeed, and I'm glad you kind of highlighted him there, but, it was a wonderful day for all our strikers. They did, really well, all of them getting a goal or, a couple of assists for Mo Salah there. It worked really well. And also Darwin Núñez involved as well in Diaz's hat-trick. So, they were all lively, they were all up for it. For me, again, I don't know, I thought it was a great team performance. I didn't look at anybody and think, you need to be hooked. Even when the subs came on, obviously, the Szoboszlai came on, but I think it was Jones. I didn't think, oh gosh, the level has... I mean, obviously there was a slight change and obviously each player stylistically is different, but I was really impressed with everyone that kind of played their part in this game.
Oh, yeah. No one let us down. Like, you mentioned Jones coming off there for Szoboszlai. I mean, Jones was phenomenal. Like,
yes, he was.
I still think he suits that slightly deeper role better because I think that suits his attribute and playing style a bit better. But if he can add that level of quality, especially the passing, like,
yes,
we've not really discussed the goals properly, but the first ball to Diaz is just phenomenal.
It is.
Like, and that's been the criticism of Jones because in previous years, even this season, he would have held on to that and delayed it.
He hogs a bit, doesn't he? Hogs a bit.
Yeah. So if he gets that timing down, like how many times the pass to Gakpo in the first half was great. It's a different type of pass, but the link-up play we saw at midweek when he came on. It's Jones is just maybe a late bloomer. He's not even bloody old. God, I'm feeling old. But he is coming into his own. And if we've got these 4 phenomenal midfield options, and I think everyone expects there's levels to come from Dom. There's a lot. I think there's a lot more to come from Gravenberch in terms of overall as well. I even think McAllister can improve from this season. But we've got 4. We're probably planning on adding more, considering who we tried to buy in the summer. Our midfield, again, I'm not saying woe is me, but our midfield doesn't get talked about enough, really. Well, I think Jones has had a phenomenal season since he's kind of re-established himself in the rotation. But, nobody let us down. I mean, let's have a look who did. Mo Salah is our top scorer. Anyway, I double-checked and I should have really knew that. But timeline. But yeah, you
mentioned Mo Salah and a record broken. I kind of just think it's just worth checking. It's just it's just law.
Absolutely. But yeah, we didn't even make subs till the 74th minute, and that's when Szoboszlai came on for Jones, and then it was Nunes for Gakpo and Robertson, and Bradley came on late, and Konza came on very late. But yeah, I mean, even from the highlights, like you see Bradley involved towards the end of the game. I mean, he's making a run through on goal straight down the middle of the pitch. You sat there like, all right then, you fly, you have fun. But it is great how good our squad is now. Like, I think there's some areas we'd probably like to have 1 or 2 more. But you look at the options we've not used. Like, Gomez came on at the weekend and was phenomenal. He's barely played this season. Our squad is massively underrated.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
I think also sometimes maybe a new manager kind of helps as well, because it's like, oh, it's a fresh start. You know, it's new everything. Like, you look at the whole Robertson and Shimikas thing, you know, as for, you know, Klopp obviously had loyalties as managers do. You know, he bought him in and he bought both of them in, but he was just tried and tested. And, Klopp would have used him till he, like, literally ran him into the ground, which he did. And you see here a new manager who sees, Robertson not having the best game against Arsenal, against Saka. And he's like, okay, what do I do? So he brings on the next best option, which was Shimikas off the bench. He did an okay job and kind of just stuck with him. And I feel like everyone's kind of got, the all. I think Robertson actually said it on Match of the Day once. I can't think who it was against. He spoke to the panel on Match of the Day, and he goes, it's like you're having to prove yourself all over again. And obviously the guys that were fringe players, and you'd mentioned Jones there, which I think was more of an afterthought for Jurgen Klopp. No disrespect to Jurgen Klopp and no disrespect to anybody. I love Jurgen Klopp, but obviously the new manager, you kind of your tail goes up a little bit.
Well, we had it in pre-season, didn't we? Because it was Jones who did one of the press conferences, and he was like, I am actually really excited for this new manager, because he wasn't disparaging Klopp in any way, but he was talking about how they would play through the midfield a lot more, and we are seeing that. We're not seeing our whole system be based on if Trent can do a 60-yard pass.
Yeah.
And that's doing a very much a disservice to Klopp, but some games it did feel, especially last season, it felt like if Trent wasn't playing well, we weren't playing well. But it was really good to see the excitement, because I know this is all about Europe and stuff, but when we go back to the start of the Arne Slot era, there was a lot of fear in the fan base, because you're getting a lad from the Eredivisie as a manager who...
Yeah, I knew nothing about him.
Yeah, I saw him in the Europa Conference League final, and that was about it. And I remember him being linked to the Leeds job. And I'm sat there like, shit.
Yeah, your natural reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when so early on in pre-season, you hear people like Curtis Jones, who only had Jurgen Klopp as a manager, come out and be excited about Arne Slot, you sat there like, yeah. And he's been proved goddamn right, because one, Curtis Jones have an excellent season, as we mentioned, and we are bloody flying.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Because that game was Tuesday and this is Thursday, and it feels like a lifetime ago that game happened, the Liverpool Leverkusen one. Completely forgot in the first half. Just Virgil van Dijk just pinging the ball to Mo Salah, just constantly finding him. And that's again, like the old school Liverpool kind of way as well. Like sometimes just maybe bypass that midfield. You can, if you've got the quality to do it, do it. And I feel like that is another aspect of Virgil van Dijk's game that doesn't get appreciated enough by non-Liverpool supporters. I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm playing out from the back. It's mad. I mean, Van Dijk's, 32, 33? And
At Sierra, discover joyous deals on great gifts for everyone on your list. Like cozy slippers, ski gear, fishing poles, bikes, large kayaks, even larger canoes. Whew. Which might lead to another discovery. Wrapping gifts is the only sport you need to stay fit this season. 'Tis the season to discover great gifts at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Time to move? Skip the hassles of selling during the holiday season and sell your home directly to Opendoor. Request an all-cash offer in minutes, close, and get paid in days. You can even pick your close date so you can move after New Year's. Start your move at opendoor.com or download the Opendoor app. Opendoor is represented by Opendoor Brokerage Inc., license 02061130 in California, and Opendoor Brokerage LLC in its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write a million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
What we recognise as a Van Dijk pass is that big diag pass.
Yep.
Whereas this season, the breaking through lines passing is just... I'm just sat there in awe. I'm like, you should not be adding strings to your bow at this stage, mate. But he is. Like, he's probably always had it in his locker. But, like, him passing to Gravenberch and passing to McAllister through the lines, it's again another phenomenal thing. And it's almost disrespectful when people compare other centre-backs to him now. But, like, he may not reach the 18-19 level again in terms of his defending, but in terms of an all-round play, I think he's been sensational. Like, he may not have that physical peak anymore, but the package is just, yeah. He's the most complete centre-back I've ever seen in my lifetime.
He's wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful. Right, I think that's enough chit-chat about Liverpool. Is there anything else you want to say? And we can move on to, some of the other English teams.
Yeah, just Diaz. Just Diaz, I think, getting a hat-trick, it's just great. Automatic man of the match, 10 out of 10. But it's really good to see him thriving in a different role. And the fact that we didn't move Gakpo to the middle, I think that speaks volumes of how we see him. Because if this was Klopp, it would have been Gakpo through the middle. But Gakpo's been so good from the left. I'm really happy we kept Gakpo there and moved Diaz.
Yeah, and both of them are actually thriving in that role as well, and it's less obvious and less predictable. Right, let's move on. Right, let's talk about the other Tuesday game. Ooh, Manchester United new manager. I think a lot of Manchester United fans were watching this. Sporting 4, Man City 1. The standard early Man City goal. I think Foden scores in around 4 minutes, but Guy Drinkel, I hope I pronounced that right, you will correct me, had a performance that Haaland, would have wanted. My word. Hat-trick.
Yeah, I mentioned it with Boniface there. There's this next crop of strikers, isn't there? And I think it's Gyökeres. I think you might be right. It's better than mine, so I'm going to take it. Yeah, but he's like right. He's Swedish and Greek, so it's like, where do I go with that? But yeah, the next crop of strikers looks exciting, but he seems to be head of the table. I think he's basically 1-1 in terms of goals to game. And, I know 2 of them are penalties, but the way he just ran Man City ragged, terrifying. And if we do need a number 9, which seems possible because there's Jota's injuries and Darwin inconsistency. I'd still hope Darwin goes up a level, but if we thought we want the next big number 9 and we can't afford to miss out on him, this is seemingly the guy. He's massive, he's fast, he's already played in England, it was in the Championship. Somehow Brighton let this guy slip through their fingers, it's kind of astonishing.
Shocker, yeah, you wouldn't think it.
No, absolutely, it's probably their one big transfer mistake and they're probably regretting it now, but yeah, I think obviously we were watching our game at the same time, but when you think, Foden scored in the 4th minute, we know this is going to end up 3-0.
Yeah.
Well, for City to implode like that.
Yeah, and Haaland penalty as well,
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's good for us. That's not good for them. But yeah, I was just astonished how poor Man City were. Really, I think the goalkeeper was awful. Yeah. The defending was awful. They obviously played the young centre back, but even just watching the highlights, I think Gvardiol, stupid penalties. Akanji looked like a mess. It's so I know Rodri is 1-1, but really to be that bad,
yeah,
missing one player.
But the quality they've got all around the pitch, but it just goes to show just how phenomenal he has been for them, and maybe they have to put a shift and a half in everywhere else, and they can't quite do it. I think he just allowed them to let them do what they needed to do.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah,
and you spoke about Gvardiol there. I mean, I think he is City's best player this season. And for him to have a brain fart kind of moment as well, it just tells you, doesn't it?
Well, that's the thing. If you're missing your most, certainly your best player, but certainly your most dependable player, you can't have your other best players being crap. And I think that's what we've seen. Gvardiol giving away a penalty, Ederson let one go straight through him.
Yeah.
Foden getting monstered on and off the ball. Mateus Nunes isn't dependable. He's kind of their 8th choice central midfielder who cost 50 million, which is a wild sentence. But even Haaland, the epitome of dependable, missing a penalty. It's not even like it was saved. He just twatted it at the bar. And said, what are you doing? No, it doesn't. Maybe it's all 4D chess by Pep, and he just wanted the United fans to be happy, and then when Amorim joins United, it all goes to crap. That's what I'm going to think here.
Yeah, obviously, it's going to take him time, and I think United fans are just itching for like maybe having a long-term manager that they can like have an affinity with, and I guess patience is going to be key here. And Guy Corres, I think he's on a lot of people's radar. I think Arsenal are after him. I think Chelsea, because they need another striker. Teams are looking at him, and I'm sure the likes of the Spanish teams like Real Madrid will be eyeballing him as well, because again, how do you disturb the harmony of that team by adding another striker? But yeah, if Liverpool could get him, incredible. Yeah, but a really, really bad. They lost in the Carabao Cup, lost in the league.
Yeah.
And now this, let's see how Pep and his boys bounce back. But a fantastic result for Sporting. And you know what a way for the manager to go out as well. And he got a really nice sending off, so that was nice.
Yeah, and hopefully it goes downhill now.
That's it. Our well wishes end right there, people, because we really liked him at Sporting, but now he's like cutting you off. Let's move on to I think a shocking result. Bruges won, Aston Villa 0. It seemed like a bit of a meh, dull kind of game. Aston Villa probably had a fair few chances towards the end, but the penalty means I feel bad for him, because I think there was some, like, that's a bad penalty shout. Like, I felt bad for him.
It was funny though, wasn't it?
It was funny because it's tight, it means, and I'll be honest, I don't think he's the best defender, but like that is cruel.
It was cruel, to be fair. I think.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of one cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.